everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm PJ. I hope you guys have been well. Today's video is going to be a very quick flip through of my March pages in my Hobonichi A6 and my Traveler's Notebook Passport, and sprinkled within that I think I will share some I think slightly unconsolidated and not fully analyzed thoughts that I've been having about my setup, and things that I want to change or I'm basically unsure about. So I'm gonna kind of talk about that while we go through the pages. But before we do that, I just wanted to also say a couple of things about this Hobonichi and Porter cover. They've been making these covers for a few years now, and for all of their sizes, so all of their journal sizes. Some of them don't have an option of like a shoulder carry or like a crossbody carry like this one. For example, they have a grey one for a grey colored cover that looks exactly like this, but just doesn't have the option of the two loops at the back. For the A6, but for me I think it was super essential to have the crossbody strap. So yesterday I've used this cover for the first time. It's been a bit of like my precious, like I didn't really want to use it because I didn't want to get it dirty or I don't know, break it or whatever. But I think yesterday when I used it, it was basically used for what it was designed for. I was meeting a friend, a planner friend, and I wanted to show her my notebook, but I didn't really want to bring a bag for just carrying a notebook. So this was perfect basically. So let me show you the inside. So the outside has two pockets here and here. They're really big, and on the inside your planner can slot in to the back here. And overall it looks pretty similar in terms of layout, like your box standard cover from Hobonichi. It only has one pen loop here, which is a really chunky elastic, like you can see, and then the back slots here, you just have one big one for your planner to slot in, and then a mesh pouch with a zip, which is really well designed by having the metal zip part actually hidden under another piece of elastic. It's amazing that, you know, like little details in design make things so much better. And then what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so I've put pens in here just to show you that, you know, we can fit pens in here quite easily. I've got 4 pens, a highlighter, my Uniball P, and then another Uniball, and then a Sarasa Nano, and my Jinhao fountain pen. And basically the pens that I have in here are the pens that I'm using mostly for, that I've been using for my A6. Yesterday I actually only brought this pen, so all these 5 I didn't bring, because I wanted to bring a external battery pack, which fitted in here really nicely. Like it was amazing. Like all these bits here on this side I did bring. So by removing the pens I was able to bring a battery pack, and I thought that's like amazing. And then yeah, on this side you have a transparent section here, which I actually really enjoy. I think I might even prefer it over this one. You only have 3 credit card slots on this side, but that's perfectly enough for me to use as well. And then you have the 2 bigger vertical slots. I think, oh, and you have 2, for me, pretty much redundant bookmark ribbons, but they are of a nicer quality than these kind of really thin ribbony things from the Hobonichi cover. So I actually really enjoy it, and I really like the orange. So yeah, I mean I've only used it yesterday, so excuse me, only used it once, but I love it. I'm so glad I have it. And if you are able to get hold of one, I would say if you're somebody who doesn't carry too much stuff when they go out, it's definitely an amazing cover to have for the flexibility of bringing your notebook without bringing loads or bringing another bag. Okay, and then before I actually go into the notebooks, just a couple of like comments about my little DIY or my little hack of changing a kind of normal enamel pin into a planner magnet. So if you're thinking of doing that to your pins, my recommendation is that you should double check that the pins that you want to convert into a planner magnet are actually magnetic. Let me just find, oh, there we go. So for example, this floppy disk one is actually non-magnetic. So, oh, it's a little, it's very, very mildly magnetic, but it's not strong enough to actually hold. Whereas this one, you can tell the magnet jumps to it and it's not gonna fall. So before you chop the pin off, make sure you've checked that it is actually magnetic and you can use it with a magnet. These are the magnets that I'm using for these planner magnets. They're very thin. They're, I think, a mil thick and 12 mil in diameter, or maybe 10 mil in diameter. So pretty small, pretty nice and sleek when you have them in your planner. So they don't really add too much bulk. And then I just use a saw, or you can use pliers to cut these off, but you just have to be really, really careful if you use pliers that, you know, the pin doesn't hit your eye or anything else important, other people, animals, your computer screen or whatever. Just be careful. Even if you're using, you know, a little saw blade, you have to be careful as well. And then once you've cut it off, it's going to be a little bit rough around the edges. So then I just use some sandpaper and sand down a little bit. If your pin has the designer's name at the back, you might actually end up damaging a little bit, but you know, you've broken the pin anyway, so a little bit of damage to the branding is not gonna be that dramatic. So then another comment again, because I noticed that this one wasn't magnetic, I just turned it into a clip instead. I've turned this one into a clip as well, even though it is magnetic. But I thought the size of this one lends itself much better as a kind of like a weight to holding down a page. So that's why this has become a clip rather than a planner magnet. Clip it onto here so it looks cute. Right, okay, so now onto the pages. I think I might do a like a comparison. So basically doing both of them at the same time, because otherwise you're going to see the same information twice. So my thoughts that I've been having, I haven't really fully thought this through or analyzed my thinking, but I'm still annoyed, I guess, or just not fully settled due to the fact that I have two journals. I really don't need two journals. I've been fine in the past with just the traveler's notebook in passport size. I think I am really falling in love with the Hobonichi and with the A6, that I find I kind of now want to use the A6 a little bit more than the passport, even though the style of how I use the passport I think very me and very different, and therefore I really like it, because when I started using Traveler's Notebook, well, I don't know whether there was already a planner community. If there was, I wasn't aware of it, or I wasn't seeking it out. So I think my style of using the passport was a very organic and natural evolution of different kind of, I guess, styles or ways of using the pages, and that I've now settled into using it in this particular way. So what I want to say with that is that I got to Hobonichi from a very different direction. So with Hobonichi, I basically really only got to know the brand and the notebook through social media, and therefore I'm very, very heavily influenced by how other people use the Hobonichis, and or I should say, what I consider the vast majority of people's ways of using the Hobonichi, which I think I've mentioned in my previous video, is kind of decorating the pages with washi tapes and stickers and things like that, and then using it. So right, so that's that. And I kind of got used to it and I kind of enjoy it, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't like the fact that I haven't really developed anything personal in terms of how I use my notebooks. Obviously, the content is different, and like, you know, to other people, obviously there are some minor uniquenesses and differences to how I decorate my notebooks to other people, decorate my pages to other people's pages. So there is a little bit of difference, but I don't feel like it's quite there yet for me. So I want to carry on using this Hobonichi A6, because I think now I do enjoy having a little bit more space to write stuff. But I basically can't make myself give up my traveler's notebook. But then the problem is that keeping two notebooks with the exact same content is just really boring and tedious, and there's really not much point in doing it. So that makes me kind of want to take one away. But at the moment, I really want to carry on using the Hobonichi, so I think that means my traveler's notebook has to go away. But even just looking at this picture, at this double page here on top in my traveler's notebook, I just love it so much more. And then these two pages. These two pages aren't ugly. I don't think any pages are particularly ugly, but I think this one just looks really interesting. You know, this is like a little IKEA sticker that I had in here. And that actually correlates to my video from last week when I was decorating the the monthly grid for March. So this is basically the same thing, but you know, presented in a different way. And while this one again isn't ugly, but this is kind of cool. It's just kind of weird, not weird, like, you know, it's just different. And I like that I have this texture on here, the little lines. They're contrasted to this grid here, which is a very delicate piece of paper. And then you have the 2 bits of washi, actually 3 bits of washi, that just kind of make it really interesting. So yeah, I have the urge of wanting to get rid of the passport purely because I want to enjoy the Hobonichi a bit more. But that now kind of puts me in a position where I feel if I get rid of my traveler's notebook, then there's nothing really that special about my pages anymore. It's not that super individual. So now basically what I'm thinking is I'm gonna have to treat the Hobonichi pages a little bit like my traveler's notebook pages. So I think I should allow myself and not be I basically have to allow myself to take pages out, insert an entirely different page material-wise, color-wise, texture-wise, and then use it like I would be using my traveler's notebook. So it's a little bit more, literally a little bit more personalized and different. Because then I can also use stamps. Stamps don't really work that well directly on your Tomoe River paper, or at least I don't think so. So that's kind of my major thought of merging these two, so I don't have to repeat myself all the time, because that's just a bit annoying. Having said that, this is just me going zigzagging. Oh god. Having said that, I just love the traveler's notebook so much that I think maybe I should just keep going, and because then I have basically two different types of archives for the year, I guess, that look very different. But then again, what's the point of having the same thing twice? Yeah, so that's my biggest problem. What do I do if I wanted to get rid of my traveler's notebook? And then with this one, I just don't know. But very briefly though, for example, this double page I quite like. It's a little bit different. I've covered both of the dates at the top, and then basically split the single page into for the 2 days. So I have Wednesday here and then Thursday here, and then use this invisible column, or whatever you want to call this, as the divider between the 2 days. And I really like this page. And then I just did another normal one, the normal way, where you still have the 2 dates at the top. But I've done another Salem Creative exclusive double page, which I really enjoy these heavily brand exclusive pages. They're just really cool, I think. Anyway, I enjoyed them in my A5. This pet tape, the shiny ones here, the bow and the typing, the text icon thing. I feel this particular pet design is really of the moment in terms of its style. It's very Y2K and kind of really young and youthful, which I really enjoy. And then I paired it with the checkerboard design by Salem Creative. This one is a slightly more, I guess, modern abstract page. And this one has no decoration because I'm talking about my YouTube film ideas. And then this one is very flowery and girly. So I do like these double pages. They're very nice. They're all kind of different and enjoyable, but I also think I'm not contributing anything new, and how to use a Hobonichi. And then back to, sorry, a little bit of a jump, back to merging these two. Another thing why I wanted to try merging pages into the Hobonichi is, a lot of people want to try rings, and they know they don't want to try rings because they know they can't get on with the actual fact that those are rings in the middle of your book. And so if you wanted to write across a page, unless you take the page out of the rings and then put it on the desk and write it, you will always hit your hand on the rings. But what people have mentioned why they like the rings is because they can customize exactly when a page goes in, so you can slide in commonplace notes or brain dumps within a pre-printed data diary. And I think I completely understand that thought process and why that is so appealing. And I think I could achieve that by, I've got the example, by just inserting pages into my Hobonichi like I would do in, for example, my traveler's notebook. So this is a page inserted as like a folded in page into my traveler's notebook because I had more things to note down. And I could easily just insert something like this into here, and then this transparent page could be either notes or it could be like for stickers from shops that I've bought from on the day or whatever. Or I can insert like an entirely different paper that doesn't have to run the entire page, and then it would look a little bit, you know, like things like this. Or I guess I could get rid of these quotes. I could do exactly what I'm doing here, and just chop the section of the quotes away and have a different paper there. And I don't know why I can't, like right now, I just can't get myself to do it, and I can't quite figure out why that is. My initial thoughts is because I'm so conditioned from seeing other people and how they use their Hobonichi that I think, oh my goodness, I can't possibly cut up this Tomorrow River paper. Whereas with my traveler's notebook, I don't, because I don't really care. I actually don't really look at other people's traveler's notebooks that much, because I'm just so content with how I use mine. And yeah, I personally think it's different enough for me not to want to, you know, strive to try be a bit more individual in how I use things. But for the Hobonichi, I just can't yet do it. But the idea is that for August, not August, oh my goodness, for April, I'm gonna try doing that. And I kind of pre-decorated these two pages differently to I think how most people I have seen have decorated their Hobonichis. I've basically just covered like the entire hourly time section. By doing it this way, you obviously spread your bulk across an even area, like a bigger area. So it's not just because previously I've been decorating like you've seen just now on either end of the page. So when you put these pages together, the bulk is going to be all here. So if you're decorating it like this, when you fold the page, then the bulk is here and here rather than all on this section. So I think that might be quite interesting. And then there's another thought of, why don't I just get rid of this entire section and put another piece of paper down? Because then the quotes could just look like another sticker, and I have something more fun to play with on this page. So this is basically my plan. My plan is to start chopping up the pages in my Hobonichi. I don't know what you guys think of it. Is this weird? Or am I like what I think I am doing, is that I am basically swayed by how other people are using the Hobonichis, and I can't seem to like snap myself out of it, and I don't know, ending up being really scared of using it. I guess my way. So for example, I also have this desk pad, I think is what you call, and this is like a weekly planner. So if I were to get rid of my traveler's notebook, I could slot in these pages. And also, actually, sorry, another jump, just because I just thought about it. MD Paper have those calendar ones, I think weekly or monthly ones that are sticky. So I could use one of those, you know, as like stuff to plan with. So like these could, this one here, for example, in May, in first week of May or something like that, it could slot in here. I could probably fold it into A5 height. Oh yeah, so it would fold down to exactly A5, and then I could plan my days like this, insert this page into here, and then carry on with my dailies, and that might be quite interesting. It would obviously bulk up my Hobonichi, but that's fine. So yeah, so this is basically my unconsolidated, slightly ranty, I guess, thoughts on what I may want to do with my Hobonichi. I really do like the idea of inserting something here. That would obviously impact the other side, but I'm sure I can think of something. Yeah, let me know what you think, whether this is a bit crazy, whether maybe you actually would you know, do you think I should get rid of the Hobonichi instead and just stick with my traveler's notebook? Or shall I use the traveler's notebook and not, sorry, shall I use the Hobonichi and not the traveler's notebook? I honestly don't think I can let go of, I feel like I can't let go of the traveler's notebook. I'm also just so bored of repeating myself across the two planners. So yeah, I'm basically, at the moment, I'm just kind of doing, noting down and planning stuff in both. And I think, sorry, another thing that I just remembered, I think in my last flip through, I said I was going to plan more in my traveler's notebook, and then in my Hobonichi, it's more memory keeping and maybe, yeah, but it hasn't really worked out like that at all. I actually just, I basically feel like I can't plan properly because I keep jumping between these. So really, actually, it hasn't really worked out. Yeah, so I think I'm using my traveler's notebook just to have a slightly different look to my pages and enjoying that a lot compared to Hobonichi pages that are usually just same, other than this page, which is a bit different. So yeah, I don't know. So this is basically all I have to say this week. Sorry if it was a little bit scattery. Yeah, I really would want to hear your thoughts. Am I just overthinking? Shall I just stick to one calendar and just let it be? Shall I just stick to the two calendars that I have and just enjoy how different they are, and just get over the fact that I'm repeating myself and not all my thoughts are in one calendar? Or shall I get rid of one? And if I do get rid of one, which one do you think I should get rid of? Or which one do you think you've been finding most interesting to hear or see flip throughs of? I think that would really kind of interest me as well, whether there are, out of these two, one of them you find more interesting than the other. Yeah, so I think that's basically all I have to say this week. It's a very short one. Hopefully it has been interesting enough and it wasn't just a bit weird. Yeah, well, thank you for watching. If you are still watching, thank you for tuning in again this week. Next week, I'm not too sure. Next week, I think I was gonna potentially decorate the front covers of my, the front cover of my traveler's notebook, but I'm not too sure. I will see. Yeah, so see you next week. Have a nice remaining weekend, and have a nice week. And thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.